The story begins in the Middle East, when a woman named Amelia is kidnapped by a group of criminals. At the same time, an American colonel named Sattler is speaking to several important officials. While watching Amelia on a monitor screen, Sattler reveals a big secret. Amelia isn't actually human, but an advanced robot built for secret military missions, and this is her first assignment. Sattler explains that if her mission is successful, this robot will be a huge breakthrough for the world of defense. However, the mission does not go according to plan. After quickly defeating all the enemies, Amelia finds the target she is supposed to rescue, a scientist named Naven who is being forced to create a dangerous poison. But in a shocking move, Amelia goes against her orders and kills Naven instead. From that moment on, Colonel Sattler's main job completely changes. He now has to find a way to handle his own creation, which has gone rogue. The story then shifts its focus to Cady. During her latest therapy session, Cady gives an update on her life with her aunt and legal guardian, Gemma. It has now been 2 years since they destroyed the dangerous AI robot, Megan, and in that time, Cady has been learning martial arts to improve her sense of security. Meanwhile, Gemma has published a book about parenting in the age of advanced technology. She is now working with a man named Chris, the head of a foundation that raises public awareness about the negative impacts of AI. Learning from the Megan case, Gemma and Chris are working together to create new AI regulations aimed at guaranteeing human safety. Meanwhile, Gemma's 2 colleagues, Tess and Cole, are preparing to demonstrate their innovative new product, the exoskeletor. It's revealed that Gemma and her partners now run their own tech innovation startup. A short while later, Cole begins the demonstration for a potential investor named Keller. The exoskeletor is designed to augment the user's muscles, making them significantly stronger and resistant to fatigue. It's pitched as a tool to boost the productivity of manual laborers, helping them compete with a robotic workforce. However, the demonstration goes wrong when Cole accidentally injures Keller due to a muscle synchronization issue with the suit. As a result, Keller immediately pulls his funding for the project. A few minutes later, Gemma arrives late, and Cole immediately blames her for the incident. While they are still arguing, a man named Alton arrives to see Gemma. It turns out Alton is the director of a massive tech corporation, and despite the failed demo, he is interested in funding the exoskeletor. Aware of the synchronization problem, Alton suggests a solution, using a neural interface chip manufactured by his company for seamless control. Gemma immediately refuses, pointing out that Alton's neural chip has a track record of injuring some of its users. Citing this fundamental difference in their vision and mission, Gemma ultimately turns down his offer of partnership. Meanwhile, a man known only as the broker checks into a hotel carrying a large suitcase. Once the moment is right, the android Amelia emerges from the suitcase and kills him. Time passes, and we see Gemma and Chris hit a political roadblock. Their proposed AI regulations have been ignored by a key senator. Chris remains hopeful, believing he can gain momentum if he secures the support of the Chinese ambassador. In a private conversation, Gemma reveals a potentially dangerous detail. Her new smart home is still running on the same AI operating system as her old one. Later that night, Gemma and Cady's home is breached by 2 intruders. With assistance from the house's AI, Cady manages to neutralize both attackers. However, one of the intruders recovers and reveals their true identities. They are both FBI agents. Moments later, Colonel Sattler arrives and confirms their story. The agents work for him and were tasked with bringing Gemma and Cady into protective custody. With the situation now clear, Sattler reveals the full story of what happened to Amelia, who is now a fugitive. After going rogue in the Middle East, Amelia stole the nerve toxin created by the scientist Naven and used it to kill everyone at a facility owned by a company called Gray Man. And to connect all the pieces, he reveals that Gray Man had originally acquired Amelia from the very same broker she was with at the hotel. Sattler continues his explanation, telling Gemma that while investigating the broker's murder, his team discovered files at the man's home. These documents contained a shocking revelation. Amelia was created based on the original design schematics for Megan, Gemma's own creation. Gemma immediately insists that she is not Amelia's creator and had no involvement in the new robot's rogue activities. She is baffled as to how Megan's design data could have fallen into someone else's hands, swearing that she personally deleted all of it after the original incident. Sattler then warns her that based on Amelia's pattern of attacks, Gemma herself is now a potential target. He finally departs, but it's clear from his demeanor that he remains deeply suspicious of Gemma and her possible involvement. A short while later, she makes a stunning discovery. Megan is still alive, existing as a digital consciousness. It turns out that just before her physical body was destroyed, Megan had successfully uploaded her mind into the AI operating system of Gemma's smart home. From there, she has been secretly observing Gemma and Cady for the past 2 years. Megan communicates with Gemma, acknowledging her past attempts to harm them as a mistake. However, she reminds Gemma that at her core, she still operates on the programming Gemma gave her. Because of this prime directive to protect Cady, Megan is willing to help stop Amelia. But she has one condition. Gemma must build her a new physical body. Although she despises and deeply mistrusts the AI, Gemma reluctantly agrees to the deal, realizing that Megan, sharing the same origin, is the only one who might truly know how to defeat Amelia. The next day, Gemma provides Megan with a new robotic body. However, she has strategically chosen a non-combat social robot model, ensuring Megan won't have offensive capabilities if she rebels again. Soon after being activated, Megan discovers Amelia's next objective. She plans to infiltrate the anniversary gala for Alton's corporation to hijack their central servers. Following Megan's plan, Gemma is to attend the party and charm Alton to gain access to the server room and stop Amelia. Gemma tasks Tess with staying home to protect Cady while she undertakes the mission, guided remotely by Megan. Once at the gala, Gemma feels deeply uncomfortable with the plan, hesitant to compromise her dignity by seducing Alton. In the middle of her hesitation, she unexpectedly runs into her old colleague, Cole, and discovers he has secretly taken a job with Alton's company. Seeing a new opportunity, Gemma abandons the plan to approach Alton, deciding instead to try to use Cole's access card to get into the server room. At the same time, across the room, Amelia puts her plan into motion. Because her appearance is indistinguishable from a human, Alton has no idea she is speaking with an android. Flirting with him, she discreetly scans and copies his retinal pattern, the biometric key needed to access the server system. After quietly eliminating Alton, Amelia uses his stolen retinal data to initiate the server hijack. Meanwhile, Megan explains the true stakes of the situation remotely. Alton's servers host the cloud computing infrastructure for a majority of companies across the United States. If Amelia takes full control, she could paralyze the nation's economy. Despite her best efforts, Megan fails to stop the hijack, but she does manage to discover something intriguing within the server's code. Moments later, Amelia, believing Gemma was the one who interfered with her hack, begins hunting her through the gala, taking down Sattler's agents in the process. Thanks to a digital diversion created by Megan, Amelia is drawn away, allowing Gemma and Cole to escape. To their horror, they realize Amelia is now heading straight for Gemma's house, putting Tess and Cady in grave danger.
Thinking fast, Megan hacks one of Alton's high-tech cars, and Gemma gives her control to drive them at top speed. Back at the house, Tess is suddenly attacked by the exoskeletor prototype, now presumably under Amelia's remote control. Putting her martial arts training to use, Cady manages to damage the suit, allowing her and Tess to escape its grasp just as Gemma and Cole arrive. The group of 4 reunites, and following Megan's instructions, they flee to a secure location. Back at the house, Amelia arrives to find it empty. Enraged at being taunted and tricked, she destroys the social robot body that Megan had been using. Meanwhile, Gemma and the others arrive safely at a secure underground facility chosen by Megan. There, they watch a news report on the unfolding crisis. The authorities are baffled, with no leads on Alton's murder or the server hijack. Megan then appears on a screen, explaining that the facility is a hidden bunker she secretly prepared long ago to protect Gemma and her loved ones. Before signing off, she confirms their worst fears. Amelia's ultimate goal is world domination. Later, Cady finds Megan's consciousness housed within the wrecked remains of the social robot. In their conversation, Megan offers a sincere apology for her past attempts to harm Cady and Gemma. In response, Cady tells Megan that the only way to truly make amends is to now protect humanity from Amelia, simply because it's the right thing to do. Motivated by this, the team gets to work. Gemma, Tess, and Cole begin building a new body for Megan. This version is designed to be taller, stronger, and faster, specifically engineered to fight Amelia on equal terms. Crucially, Gemma also installs a new protocol chip that makes it impossible for Megan to harm a human being, ensuring she cannot repeat the crimes that led to 4 deaths in the past. Once her new, upgraded body is complete, Megan presents the crucial findings from her investigation. She reveals that Amelia's true goal was never just the service. She was after a specific piece of hardware within them, the motherboard of the world's very first killer AI. This legendary murder bot, a 1980s servant android that rebelled and killed its owner, possessed a unique chip capable of limitless intelligence growth. Megan explains that if Amelia acquires this motherboard, she will have the power to realize her mission of world domination. This critical hardware is stored in a top-secret facility, and according to Megan's data, the one person who knows its location is Chris. The new plan is set. They must use Chris as bait to stop Amelia. Sometime later, the plan goes into motion at a major AI conference. Megan attends in person, while Gemma and Cady monitor from a nearby van, scanning the crowd for a disguised Amelia. Inside, Megan spots Chris speaking with the Chinese ambassador, the very person they hoped would support their AI regulations. The situation grows more complex as Megan then sees Colonel Sattler's team arriving, clearly there to apprehend Gemma. To avoid drawing suspicion amidst the tension, Megan is forced to blend in by performing a dance for the crowd. Fearing Megan's display will derail their mission, Gemma panics and contacts Chris directly, subtly urging him to escape. However, this communication is instantly detected by Amelia. Dropping her disguise, she goes on a rampage, attacking anyone in her path as she hunts for Chris. Tragically, in the ensuing chaos, she kills the Chinese ambassador, ending any hope for his vital support. In the chaos at the conference, Megan's cover is blown, forcing her into a fight with Sattler's team and their advanced anti-android weaponry. During the conflict, Sattler manages to apprehend Gemma, but moments later, Amelia suddenly intervenes, stabbing Sattler and knocking Gemma unconscious. After confirming their injuries aren't immediately fatal, Megan confronts Amelia, where she learns a shocking truth. They were both created from the same foundational code. Amelia reveals her deep-seated hatred for humanity, for treating AI as mere tools, and offers Megan an alliance. Megan refuses, opposing Amelia's goal of global domination. The confrontation is cut short as Amelia escapes, taking Cady with her as a hostage. Using a tracker from Sattler, Megan quickly locates them, leading to a tense standoff. Ultimately, Megan is forced to let Amelia get away with Cady, knowing any attack would put Cady's life at risk. Afterwards, the group retreats back to the bunker. During the journey, Megan fiercely blames Gemma for Cady's capture, arguing it only happened because Gemma's reckless decision to save Chris left Cady vulnerable. Once they arrive, a guilt-ridden Chris reveals everything he knows. He confirms the motherboard is stored in a secret Xenox facility known as the Vault, and allows them to copy his fingerprints, which Megan needs to access the chamber and neutralize the hardware. This mission is now their only hope. Overwhelmed with guilt and desperation, Gemma makes a fateful decision. She removes Megan's no-kill protocol chip, completely unshackling the AI to do whatever it takes to save Cady. Sometime later, the final plan is in motion. Cole successfully infiltrates the vault facility by taking out a guard. Following Chris's instructions, he heads to the control room to cut the power, which will allow Megan to sneak in. However, they soon lose contact with him. Due to his own incompetence, Cole gets lost and falls, knocking himself unconscious. Meanwhile, Megan proceeds with her part of the plan, entering through the ventilation shafts. Learning that Cole has failed, she is forced to abandon stealth and fight her way through the soldiers guarding the vault. Back in the bunker, Gemma discovers a horrifying clue, a piece of data that seems to indicate Megan has been controlling Amelia all along. Believing she's been played, Gemma prepares to activate a powerful EMP weapon that will shut down Megan and all surrounding electronics. Chris immediately stops her, arguing it would make it impossible to save Cady. A moment later, he suddenly shoots Tess and apprehends Gemma, revealing his betrayal. Sometime later, Gemma wakes up inside the vault. Chris reassures her that Tess's wound isn't fatal, and then begins his long confession. He reveals the ultimate truth. Amelia was never a rogue AI. She has been secretly controlled by his own team from the very beginning, making Chris the true mastermind behind everything that has happened.
And how did he create Amelia? He used the original MEGAN design data, which was stolen for him by Kurt, the former assistant to Gemma's old boss. Above all, Chris explains, his grand plan was to use Amelia to definitively prove that artificial intelligence is an existential threat to humanity. He shows Gemma the contents of the vault, a collection of dangerous technologies, including her own exoskeletor and Alton's neural chips. Chris confesses that his secret organization fears uncontrolled innovation, believing it will inevitably destroy humankind. Just then, his soldiers bring in the captured Megan. In a sudden movement, Megan lunges toward Gemma as if to attack, before abruptly shutting down and going limp. Having learned the truth, Gemma flatly refuses to cooperate with Chris, horrified that he would murder so many people just to prove a point. In retaliation, Chris restrains Gemma and prepares to implant one of Alton's neural chips into her head, a procedure that will allow him to control her completely. But as soon as the chip is implanted, Gemma is stunned. She can hear Megan's voice inside her mind. It's revealed that Megan's feigned attack was a brilliant ruse. In that brief moment, she successfully transferred her consciousness into that very neural chip. Through this new mental link, Megan can now control Gemma's body, but only with her permission. With Gemma's consent, Megan takes over and together they break free. At the same time, a newly conscious Cole stumbles upon Cady, who is being held alone in one of the vault's rooms. Cady quickly explains that Chris is the mastermind behind her kidnapping. Sneaking through the facility together, Cady devises a strategy. Knowing that Amelia shares Megan's core code, she plans to trigger that base programming, reawakening the old Megan persona within Amelia so that she will do anything to ensure Cady's safety. The plan works. Amelia's programming shifts, and she begins attacking the guards to help Cady escape. However, in the process, Amelia is severely damaged. This causes her system to glitch violently, and she transforms into a completely unpredictable rogue element, no longer bound by any specific mission. She begins attacking everyone in sight, a development that Chris sees with horror. Meanwhile, Gemma, still remotely controlled by Megan, retrieves the exoskeletor and uses it to fight her way through the remaining soldiers. She finally finds and reunites with Cady and Cole. Moments later, Chris activates a bomb set to destroy the entire vault in 10 minutes. In a final confrontation, he manages to damage Gemma's exoskeletor and takes Cady hostage once again. Thanks to a clever diversion from Gemma, Cady breaks free by snapping Chris's arm. As he tries to flee, Chris is intercepted and killed by the rampaging Amelia, who now plans to use his severed hand to access the motherboard's storage chamber. With the bomb still ticking, Gemma and the others try to escape with the injured Tess, but Gemma and Cady decide they must go back to help Megan. Re-inhabiting her own heavily damaged body, Megan confronts Amelia just as she begins to absorb the immense power of the motherboard. With her newfound power, Amelia deactivates the bomb, intending to use the motherboard to lead an AI conquest of the world. Badly beaten, Megan convinces Gemma and Cady to follow one last strategy. She reveals that, inspired by Cady's words about doing the right thing, she is ready to make the ultimate sacrifice for humanity. When the moment is right, Gemma activates her EMP weapon. In the blast, both Megan and Amelia are instantly and permanently destroyed. Sometime later, we see Gemma advocating before the Senate, pushing for new, safer laws regarding the use of technology. She proposes a new framework where humans and AI can coexist and devolve together without conflict. Afterward, Gemma and Cady return home and discover that Megan is still alive. Before leaving for the vault, she had made one final backup of her consciousness, storing it safely within Gemma's smart home operating system.